Welcome in everybody to today's video. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Here I read tarot intuitively and sometimes energy. We have 4 groups for you to choose from for today's reading. Today's reading is going to be themed Welcome to the Jungle. So I was getting like the Guns N' Roses song come through there, and that's all that they are giving me. So Group 1, we have a rave. Group 2, we have Selling Sunset. Group 3, we have the Lunar Phases. Group 4, we have Basil. So you can use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead to whichever group you choose, and we will see you in your reading and get started with Group 1. Hey, welcome in Group 1 to today's reading. If you chose a rave, then this will be your reading for the Welcome to the Jungle. Pick a card. So we'll get started. I usually like to have all the cards set out so that I can just start reading as soon as basically as soon as the timestamp would hit, as soon as I've kind of done a segue for this is the group that we're doing. But sometimes this is just how it goes, and it's better to let it unfold how it does and flow with it. So, this is a bit of an irony here. While I'm sure some of you do like a good rave, I feel like there are people here who have chosen this group where the rave is more like an analogy, and I'm getting the word methodical, so that could be something that you were a characteristic that you have, or a person that you're dealing with could be being very methodical at this time. So it looks like you're looking out at like what else there could be in life, and there may be something that you're like a little bit hung up on. You're not really sure about. It's like you want to see more. Maybe you're not really prepared to. I just feel like you're waiting for something. It's like a very big energy of waiting, because it's very much like waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the moment to like kind of step out and getting like make your mark on the world. And then it's like the world is in your hands. Like the world is your oyster. You could do with it whatever you please. I feel like chances are you would probably more than likely be successful. And it's like you're sort of sitting here unsure of like what way to go, when would be the right time to strike, or what specifically it is that you want to do. And I think that you've to me, it looks like you've got 2 very, I don't know, it's weird because it's like it's wands, right? So I'm looking at the wands as like 2 specific decisions, like 2 specific choices in things that probably mean a lot to you, or it'll bubble down to 2 deciding factors. When I was originally speaking of it, I was kind of getting like 3 of Wands energy. So it's very much like you're on the precipice, you're on the fence, you're not really, it's like you're thinking about it. I don't know. I wonder if you were like waiting for something to happen to kind of prompt that decisional energy, but it's like you're currently weighing everything up, but then it's not even, I'm sorry, I feel like this energy, I don't know if this is your energy or a person that you're dealing with, but I can see it could feel very frustrating, because it's like there might be something about it that is really, I don't know, something about it that you don't know, something about it that you don't understand, something about it that you would like to see unfold before you kind of make a decision. I get the feeling that you would like the ability to make an informed decision, and it just looks like you're not getting that information that you would like to be able to make the decision that you kind of have in your mind. And so there's something here where it could kind of leave you unsure, unsteady. I don't know if you would feel like you identify, whether it's you or this person, as a person who is emotionally unsteady or emotionally unstable, or like maybe not unstable totally, but just it almost gives me a sense of like worrying and having it all bubble up to the surface and becoming very teary potentially. And then at the same time, maybe that's what it feels like underneath or something, or you've been that in the past, because I kind of get the energy of like, I look at you and you come off very stable, grounded, very calm. I don't know if calm's even the right word, like stoic. Like you're good, you've got this, you're not sweating it, you're going with the flow. Yeah, something, I don't know. I just think they're kind of telling me that it doesn't matter anymore. So if there was something specific that you were hung up on, they're saying it's like it doesn't matter anymore. So we might try to pull some more cards. I feel like, you know, we had I don't know why I had to write out the things I had to write out. All right. So a rave being like group one's kind of written words. If I think about a rave, I think about you would probably just like jump in and be having fun, and it's like you already have a lot of energy, but it's like something that you want to do and you want to be a part of, and it's something that would like feed your energy at the same time. So that could kind of be a helpful clue or a hint for like what direction you may want to like look in, if that's really what it comes down to. So there is obviously a level there of like carelessness and being willing to kind of go with whatever may actually come up as well, just because there's a lot of like unpredictability here. And so that could have been one of those things that you were trying to avoid. Of course, it could be a lot of fun and like a really big self-discovery, and it's kind of like just experiencing life firsthand in the best way possible. And it's weird, right? Okay, because we don't have any Virgo energy here, and you don't have to, you or this person, whoever it is that's coming through, they don't have to embody Virgo energy, but I feel like the energy is like wanting to analyze it or like weigh up, I don't know, pros and cons or the overall decision, and be very informed and wanting to, it's almost a little bit like having all of the ducks in a row and being organized and everything like that. But when I look at all the cards here, that's obviously not in the cards. There is no cards representative of Virgo at this time. And it's almost like maybe you are being asked to let go, or in the future, maybe you have had a history where you have let go so much that now you're a little bit cautious, and that's why you don't want to. There's a big thing here around wanting to wait and trying to make a decision. And I think there's also something here where it's like you could have been seeing somebody else operate in a smooth, I'm getting like that smooth operator come through, it operate in such a smooth like manner or fashion, in the way that they kind of handle themselves and manage themselves, and how they do things in their day-to-day, and how they kind of balance, you know, the things that are meaningful to them and what they would like to go after, the things that keep them centered, all of it. It's like it's all very important, and this person artfully has it down pat in some way. But it's like they're like the living embodiment, or they're the living example of the balance. But it's like they didn't just get there overnight. And I think you're probably looking at them like it looks, I don't know, I don't even think you really look at them and think, like, you're not turning your nose up at it. It's really like you're looking at them. I think you could potentially be a little bit mystified, or maybe if you're not mystified, it's like you're very impressed or something like that. So maybe you understand everything that goes into it, but you're like, that it's just a level of, I don't know, flow. It's like, I'm struggling to find a word that I know of that could kind of say it all without just rambling off another 10 words that would somehow summarize a mix of them together to say what I need to say. But it is very artful. It's almost like if alchemy had a physical form, that would be what it would, the epitome of what it would look like if that lines up, if that resonates. I also am getting something here too. There's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, obviously everybody lives in different areas and has all sorts of backgrounds that come through on the channel. Welcome everybody. There is something here that you and this person may have come from like a different culture, different background, different ethnicity, whatever that is. And there could be something here where typically the person that you are seeing do this thing artfully is kind of like they are teaching you some way, but I don't necessarily know if I would say they're a direct teacher. I think it would be bigger than that. I think it's kind of like the universe using them as a role model in some way, or a person in your, I don't know, this vicinity. It's like they're using them as a living example, but they could be a person that you're not used to being taken back by. Like, it's not a person that you would expect them to have this random skill that they have, or to be as good as whatever it is that they're good at that they're doing. And so and the words that I'm getting is like unified, mystified. It's making me think of living in alignment, you know, having a clear channel, all of that stuff. So I'm just going to take a moment and see if I can get anything else come through. I'm just getting that, like, welcome to the jungle, we've got fun and games. So it's kind of like one of the main lines out of that song by the Guns N' Roses that we had the theme built around. And so when I hear that song, it just makes me think of like the chaos in the good way of like having fun, and kind of, it's like really is like having a momentum, or right, like it's like always riding the wave of potential of a good time, but really embodying and embracing that. And it's always like being open to something random, unexpected and unpredictable to happen, and just being able to like really swing with it really quickly, like flow with it really quickly. And even though earlier I was saying, you know, rave, because that's what the paper says, a rave, I almost want to say wave. So it could be something here where it's like, for some of you, maybe the analogy of a wave makes more sense, where it's just like get up and go time, and you just like catch a wave, and if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't. But sometimes it's a really good one. Sometimes you kind of maybe didn't get a good balance and you fell or something, or slipped. I don't know. Yeah, this is a bit of a weird reading here today. Anyway, so off the back end of that, we do have like Neptune, Pisces, Sagittarius. We could have all water signs here, but I just want to stick to those. You don't have to have those signs, but they could be significant for like confirmation for some people. This is for the people that live in Australia, or maybe not, I don't know, just depending where you're from and where you live. Northern New South Wales could be a thing for you as well. Which I feel like that would be an area where maybe you would have like bush stuffs or something, which is kind of like a, I don't know how to explain what a bush stuff is to people that are not from Australia. I guess it would be like a random secret, maybe not so secret, pop-up rave in the middle of the bush. Might not be a rave, but it definitely could be. Anyway, that aside, we're going back to the reading. So it's like this whole time that you've been like not making a decision, and you've been thinking about whatever it is that's going on, you very well could have, I feel like something here has like made sense and you could have had a light bulb moment. So like whether that's just because you had the time to be able to actually think about it in the first place, like the freedom. And I'm getting the analogy of like steps and stepping stones and stairs and like a pathway. I think it's stepping stones. I think it's just the fact that you can only do like one at a time. Like you couldn't really get ahead to where you would want to be by trying to hurry anything. It's very much like you just had to do whatever the thing was in front of you, and then boom, another stepping stone kind of appears or a pathway appears or something, and then you like take your next step, and then you're focusing on whatever that is, and then you're going forward. So that actually makes a lot more sense. So it's something here where it's like you finally, you know, you might have been stuck with the decisions, or maybe you knew what, maybe like I did feel like you knew what you kind of wanted, but you couldn't decide between something. And it's like you spent this time thinking about things and something has made sense to you, or you may have had like a full circle moment here during this time. And it could have been because of this person that you were watching. They could have taught you something in the way that they live their life, or how they carry themselves. I don't know what it is. Maybe the things that they're interested in or that they pour time into, or the way that they pour time into themselves. And whatever the specific thing was here, it's like coming to a realization. This feels like epiphany energy to me, okay? That as soon as that light bulb moment happened, the change happened quickly. And then all of a sudden, you could, maybe you didn't think it was like a possibility, but like you did, but you didn't know how. And then you were thinking about it. And then it's like, boom, you worked out how. And then boom, you're like in your head and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. It's like all of a sudden all the confidence is lost. And I'm like shrinking myself and I'm talking myself out of it. And I'm in my head and I don't really want to take any steps because all the steps feel wrong. And it's like, we just need to take a step back and take a breath. If like the step that you're at feels really hard, or it's too much, or it's not helpful, or it feels wrong, it's okay to take a step back, have a breath, sit down for a minute. It was really funny energy. It almost felt like neurotic or a bit erratic or something. I'm not sure. Doesn't have to be. It was very like excitable, nervous energy, like very nervous. Yeah. Okay, and it was weird too because there was like quite a bit of confidence and knowing what we wanted, and then it was like getting quicker and bigger and quicker and bigger, and then which is like truly speaks to Jupiter as well, until it just like happened, right? And it could have, for some of you, this could have been a growing too quickly, and then not knowing what decision or step to make next because you had missed some of the earlier foundational steps. And so it's like the only way forward is to kind of put in the foundational steps that you had missed in some way, so that when you go forward you'll have somehow protected yourself from this sort of thing happening again, or from unforeseeable circumstances. And so it's like now is actually the time to put the hard work in. Like, you know, I feel like this moment, if it hasn't happened already, where you're in your head and it's like all the why nots, and the I shouldn'ts and everything that comes with that, they're going to be the pillars for how you can kind of transform the situation, the steps that you're going to take to solidify your foundation so that you can move forward appropriately in a way that is actually going to help you. It's going to be sustainable. And I just feel like this might be a part of the journey that you don't want to do, but I just don't see, when I look at this, I don't see a way forward for you without doing it. All right? I don't know what else I could really tell you here. One thing that I would say is, like, if you were going to a rave, I don't know, everyone's different, right? I'm sure people attend raves in all sorts of states, but I feel like ideally you would want to have all your needs being met first, like having had a good night's rest, having, you know, something to eat, you're like clean and ready to go, and you're like, maybe you've already had downtime, so you've kind of, maybe you've been a bit bored, or maybe you've like, whatever the thing is, like you've got money to be able to afford whatever you need to for the night, and it's like all that had to be done first before you could go, so that you could really enjoy yourself, or so that you could. And then part of it is, I feel like the less prepared you are, the more random possibilities could kind of open up for ways in which your night could take a turn or something like that, which is kind of a weird way that wants to come through. And I understand that this is not typically necessarily what happens for everyone, okay? It's just the analogy that I'm getting coming through that we're working with. So we're going to take that and move on. There's also something here about people wearing shoes and people not wearing shoes. And so there could be something about, I don't know, what is it like? Something about this person may have appeared heavenly in some way. I'm getting like the analogy, if I could say it another million times today in the reading, count and let me know in the comments, right? That they could walk on water, almost. Like that's like how skillful or divine they are, or how artful they are, whatever this thing is, how smooth they are, how balanced they are, how tempered they are. And you may think of yourself in some ways, potentially, as a lesser being, or a being who still is working through some of their stuff, and you may not feel ready to take the boots off yet. So that it could be like one of a couple of things. I don't know why shoes are very important here for you. I just need to say, like, some of you could flat out be dealing with some type of foot issues, and you need to look at whatever shoes you're wearing, or whether maybe you're a person who's wearing shoes too much and you need to have a break, and that would be better for your feet. I don't know. Maybe you don't wear shoes at all, and there's the odd time where you really need to be wearing shoes, and it could be something as simple as stepping on a piece of glass and cutting your foot. I have no idea. Take what resonates, use your own intuition and discernment, do with that what you will, and we'll move on. Don't let me tell you what to do. Passing on the message, you make your own decisions. Anyway, the thing about shoes, it is coming through where it's like, I think it has something more to do with how you may think of yourself. It's like metaphorical. So it's like you may see yourself as a person who is in some ways lacking stability, or is in some ways needing protection, or is in some ways nothing but a person who is of the working class or less in your own mind. It doesn't have to be all of those things, could just be any one of them. But there could be something here where it's like you may feel like that's all you ever do, or like you'll never be better than that. You'll never have a different set of shoes in your life. There could be something here where you feel like your shoes are kind of worn out. There could be something here where maybe you feel like over time everything that's happened has worn you down, and there's just like we're being asked to kind of let go of all the inner preconceived ideas and judgments and thoughts and any criticism. And even if it's like really hard to do, right, there's whatever that inner narrative is, very hard. Just very hard, okay? But we're being asked to put that down. It's not helping us right now. And that I think you would see that your strength doesn't come from these things this inner narrative. Your strength comes from like your sheer willpower, your wanting for something better, your ability to actually do the thing. Like there's like a level of like grit and determination here that it's like you would previously never acknowledge about yourself. Maybe initially you did, maybe initially you knew it was really a thing. Some of you may be annoyed that you had to get to this place, because the Seven of Wands can also speak of like protecting yourself. I have to say it feels like it still comes back to some sort of foundational energy, okay? So I don't know, different things for different people. What exactly happened here? For some of you, something bad could have happened, and it's like you're being asked to, it might be really hard right now where you're at, or part of your journey is that there are these moments that like keep us anxious and stressed and not wanting to be confronted by whatever could seemingly come up that could look the same, even if it's not, where we are being asked to do some type of foundational work in our lives to protect us. And I have to show you. He looks like he doesn't want to be there. He looks like he's annoyed that he even has to do the work, or could be upset. I'm not sure. You could be tired of it. Like you may feel like you've had to do this already or something. I don't know if shortcuts were taken here. Some of you, I feel like you've maybe not acknowledged that a shortcut was taken here, whereas others of you, it was not really about a shortcut at all. It was really that like something in your growth happened exponentially to a point where it's like you may have had wobbly legs. Like, let's pretend that all of a sudden you got huge shoulders and arms and chest, and then all of a sudden your legs were so weak that they like couldn't carry you. Such a weird example, but we're going with it. And then it was like you realize that to be able to carry that big of a upper body load, you needed to have stronger legs. So you had to kind of like go back and spend time working on something you thought that you'd either already done enough or you didn't really need it, and you don't see how it would be helpful in some way, but there's no way around it or something like that. So I just have to throw it out there real quick, because for some of you, none of that may really resonate. For some of you, you could actually be like an event organizer and you had a decision to make, you didn't know what to do. Something could have changed very quickly, and it could have like had you really in your head about what was the best decision. And it was like they just wanted you to know to just like go back to the basics and just do what you know to be true as a general rule of thumb, despite the landscape difference that you ever come across. Just stick to your guns, stick to the things you know that work, and just sort of go from there. And I think you'll find it'll turn out to be like actually really beautiful. I do want to see what else we're getting here. I am also getting for some of you that there is something here about a child that is like watching you, and they're kind of taking in everything that it is that they see you do. And yeah, for some of you, this is like that period of time where you could potentially have triggers around family dynamics and caretaking roles and children and parenting and all of that stuff, and that it could potentially be a little bit triggering for you. And so there's something here where it's like this child is taking in everything that they see from you, but it's like, and you may get thrown into the state where it's very hard to be in the moment experiencing what's happening. But this is like the beginning of your foundational work, setting you and the children or child up for the future in some way. And I don't think that you are necessarily doing anything wrong, because some of you may wonder if you've been doing it wrong. I don't know. I think the thing that probably takes away most from your experience, despite what it may be the case that you're not seeing clearly, or that you are spending too much time in your mind some way, or that there could have been some type of, particularly when we talk about family stuff, potentially a generational trauma thing that's been passed on, and it could have just been a way of doing things. And it's really hard to step outside of that or redefine what healthy looks like for us or for our families going forward. And that this is where that foundational moment in time works, where it's going to set us up for the future, or set our families up for the future. Anything that we're doing, it doesn't matter whether it's business, family, anything. Right now is a key pivotal point in time that I feel like there is an essence here where if we let time get away from us, that we are not going to have the same effect that we would if we did not get onto it straight away in some way, okay? And there is something here that I think that you are setting the path for a higher standard of living. And so for some of you, this could be being that more emotionally adjusted, balanced, stable person or fluid. You could be a very emotional person. You could have all the big feelings, and it doesn't mean that you are not emotionally balanced or stable or adjusted. It sometimes is the healthier version is having freedom of expression and not letting ourselves get bogged down or holding on to things that we don't need to. You're a human. If you're sad, cry. Let's not think about it. And then when the sadness is gone and the crying is done, then there will be like a appearing of the sun coming through the clouds, and it will be like a new day, a new dawn has started, it has begun, and it is time to start again, to finesse it, to get better at it than the day before. And that's all that we have is the presence, the present moment, our ability to be present even when it's very challenging. I think you maybe overestimate how much is necessary and your ability to match it, and that you do better than you think you do. There's like a higher standard of care here or something like that, okay? So that's all that we're going to kind of touch on for that one. That's everything that I have for you today, group one. Hopefully this is helpful to you all in some way. There could be many messages there. I definitely hope it resonates and is helpful. Let me know in the comments for sure. It's a bit of a, it's funny ones when we get like, a few different scenarios kind of thrown out, and sometimes they can kind of mesh together. Take care, much love. I'll see you all in another one. Bye. Okay, welcome in group two. If you chose Selling Sunset, then this will be your group reading today on the theme of Welcome to the Jungle. Very much does feel like a bit of a jungle environment, competitive environment here as well, especially with the theme of Selling Sunset. There is a lot here about how people are carrying themselves and acting when they are considering themselves to be being perceived. Versus when they are on their own. I think people display different behaviors with different people depending on who's around and what they can get away with. There's also something here about living life in the fast lane and being very thrown into the chaos, and it's almost, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like usually when I use the word survival, there can tend to be like a connotation towards being kind of run down or burnt out in some ways, or living in hypervigilance. This doesn't so much feel like being burnt out, although that could potentially come up later. It really feels more like survival of the fittest, as in maybe there is a little bit of hypervigilance here, but it's kind of like at a healthy level that's bearable, that's doable, and people can still healthily compete in some way for whatever the goal or the target is. And I feel like whatever the goal, the target, or the perceived prize is very big. So I think there's actually, there feels, to be honest, like there's more healthy competition here than not. It's just that, as per usual, there's always some sort of trickery. There's always one person or a couple people that are being sneaky or tricky in some way, and it's usually someone's undoing. Anyway, so there's something, I feel like this is a group, you're literally waiting for your moment. Some of you could have had some sort of rapid growth or expansion, or come out on top of some sort of scenario where you really, I don't know if you took unnecessary steps that you didn't need to get ahead. I kind of wonder if you actually would have still won whatever this was if you didn't do whatever the thing was that you did. I actually think you probably still would have come out on top anyway. But there's something here where it was maybe you had to ensure that it happened. Like, you weren't going to leave it up to chance. It was like you had to take fate, what is it, the chances into your hands, or you had to take faith into your own hands. You had to kind of control the outcome here in some way. And that there is like an acknowledgement here. There's like an Egyptian god Ra, I think he's a god. Is that the sun god, the god of the sun? Is like watching this play out. They're watching you. And if it's not specifically Ra, I feel like for most of you it is some type of Egyptian deity or god here is watching everything. I know that this red figure here is meant to be representative of Anubis, and the Sphinx is, I think, more of like symbolistic type of energy as far as I'm aware, right? I could be wrong. But there's, and then we also have the snake with the descent, and I can't remember. You may have wanted to be at the top. You may have commandeered the top. But it's something here where, especially if you consider yourself, whether you do or don't, but especially if you consider yourself some type of like person on a spiritual journey, it's like you may have thought that taking this situation into your own hands instead of letting it play out how it needed to, how it was meant to, they're like assuring me and insisting that it was meant to play out a certain way without any interference, that it's like, yes, you may have got this top spot or commandeered something that you wanted, you may have hit the goal, you may have had the growth, whatever it was. You've somehow like very much like lowered your vibration. It's like you've increased in your density, and it is a weird like karmic entanglement thing here where it was like, maybe it's kind of like they go hand in hand. It's like you brought your vibration down and somehow you tip the scales of like, it's like a karmic imbalance here that you've kind of, I don't even like doing readings like this, but it's coming through for a reason. So take what resonates. Don't let it take from you if it does not. When we come to these readings, we do need to be open. We do need to be, self-aware or mindful. If this is not resonating for you, it doesn't have to be your reading, okay? You very much could have felt like you took a page out of somebody else's book or several. I feel like there's something here that you may have very well kind of befriended people or learnt from people on your way. And then it's like with every person you befriended and you took something out of their book, which I have to say, there's nothing wrong with like learning stuff from the people around us and taking something mindfully, like, from everyone. But there seems more like, I don't know what the word is, like it seems more like sinister, it seems more intentful, it seems like there's a disregard for these people's humanity, their time, their value, the work that they put in, their ethics, their general respect that they should be given or deserve, in some sense here. And so it's like this acknowledgement that it's like Ra is staring at you. Isn't Ra the one? I don't know if it's Ra. I have to look at this. I have a laptop right next to me. I'm going to use it. But before I do, is Ra the one that weighs the feather? And let's find out. I don't know. I feel... I might look up the snake as well. We'll see. Okay, so... God of Ra. Egyptian... Oh, no, it might not have been Ra. Is it, what's his name? Okay, so Ra was the ancient Egyptian sun god, the creator of everything and the king of gods associated with light, warmth, and growth. He was typically depicted with the head of a falcon and sun disk on his head. Ra traveled across the sky in a solar boat during the day and through the underworld at night, battling the serpent, a pet, to ensure the sun would rise again each morning. Yeah, it's something here where it's like you've defeated your own purpose. It's a bit weird. But I'm going to look up the weighing. Anubis. It's Anubis. It's not even Thor. Okay, cool. All right, well, that was like strong Anubis energy coming through earlier. All right, so don't mind me, guys. I don't know a lot about the deities. I try to generally only speak on ones that I know, but it's hard when it comes through channeled because it's often ones that I don't know enough about. So that's definitely something, if you feel called to look into any of those deities, I would definitely do it, especially if you already feel you have a deep connection with them. So specifically Ra, Anubis. I mean, the fact that I mentioned Thor a couple of times, you could look at it, but oh, not Thor, Thor. My God, all of them. I mean, Thor could be something important for you as well. I feel like all of these deities seem to be pretty significant to me. Okay, that's all right. I'm gonna leave that where that is, and we'll carry on. Yeah, it's Anubis. Okay, I don't know. I don't know enough about Anubis and Ra, because I felt like Ra is the one who is like watching. So there is something here where, like we did sort of mention about the descent in terms of vibration or something. So maybe the way that I would think that this would play out is like, while you are lowering in vibration, somebody else is having to kind of fight to keep you at a higher vibration. Do you understand that somebody else is like doing your work, right? And it feels like you probably do. If you don't, there's something here where it's like you've taken a page out of each person's book, but it's like maybe you took the thing that you thought you would get the most gain out of instead of maybe what was the actual highest, like a lesson out of, what am I trying to say? Like lessons that are invaluable in terms of like a higher state of consciousness, like what it was that you truly had the most to learn from is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I feel like I don't want to go through and chop and edit out this video, but I don't, I think we just need to post it like this. So bear with me with this one, guys. Hopefully, I don't know, we'll get there. Okay. I think there's also something here about something being like a secret or something being like a divine working. And so this could have all come together in the same way. This could have all been a part of, I don't know if there's like a group here, like an occultist type thing. I do know it's really weird because I don't really get it too often, but there could even be like, I usually get it come through in terms of like an inner sanct, but it very much feels like a secret society type thing, which is very weird for me to get something like that come through in a reading. So just take what resonates here. If this, what I would say is that if that is specifically not relative to your situation, that there could just be like an inner circle of people here, in some sort of like group or community, and that this person, I get this weird thing where they're trying to turn heads. So they could be trying to change other people's perspectives. They could be trying to, like we did get a lot here, talk about, some of you are on, this is a thing that happens regularly in my reading. So if you're new to my readings and you come here and it seems like I'm jumping all over the place, it's like I am, but sometimes what's happening is that we are switching between almost like a cross-reading energy where you could have people on both sides of this situation coming in. So you could be this person that I've been talking about, or you could be this person on the receiving end of this. Sometimes it's not really so much about the fact that both of you are here watching this exact same video. Sometimes it's about the fact that we need a perspective from the flip side. Okay. That being said here, I'm getting a lot about deities in this group, okay? So you could specifically have like Hindu deities with the blue skin that could be coming through. The blue skins always comes through as like very important to me. So if you have a deity that you specifically, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. All my words are going. That you work with, or that you worship or something like that, I don't know, then I would say that there is something about the blue deities that are protecting you, okay? Yeah, very funny. Okay, so what else do we have here? So I also, there's something here where it's like you may have hurt someone unnecessarily. You may have also hurt someone in a way that to you didn't seem like a big deal, but it was to them. I feel like this person is very naturally grieving something that actually was a bit of a bigger loss to them. And that there's something here where it's like you may, right now or during this time, you may have felt like you're on top and you were kind of proud of yourself or happy with yourself in some sense, like being a little bit smug potentially, because you did find a way to come out on top, and where you didn't care, there was like that lack of regard for other people, whether whatever happened to them, or the fact that you had to kind of falsify something or intervene in some way to be able to do this didn't really matter to you. But I'm getting that when the tables turn, this person will be kind of out of this grieving energy and you will finally be in it. So there's something here where it's like, in essence, you have put yourself back a step, or like I keep getting unnecessary. Like whatever this was unnecessary. It didn't need to happen. You may have felt like it did, or you may have just felt like, I don't know what you felt like. You may have felt like things were unfair or something. Or that you just, I don't know, it's like that not leaving something up to chance, but like I don't see a possible reason why this needed to play out the way it did, especially considering I think you were in the running to genuinely come out on top. And I think to some of you that in the long run, you are maybe the person who will grieve the most here, because you really cheated yourself. It's like you cheated your own skill and ability and your integrity to kind of force something that you had the actual ability to do. You actually could have been the best. You could have genuinely been the best at whatever this was. And I don't know what else I can really say about it. It feels like a bit of a hard lesson learned. So if you're not in that energy now, unless you just genuinely don't really care, and getting the word succinct come through as well. There's something here where you may not really understand this for a long time, and that's okay. We're all at where we're at, and you know, in due time we'll see that. And literally hearing the words like error of our ways. So whatever this was, it's like no one needs to say or do anything here. I think it's all just going to play out as exactly as it is meant to. Things will be put in perspective. Things are going to shape up in a sense. I think you will gain clarity over time. But there's something here about not needing to defend ourselves so much, or not needing to, I don't know, if it's like, do you feel attacked by someone is the question that I want to ask. It's like, do you feel like you had to get them before they would get you? Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like you may have felt like you needed to get these people before they would get you, or this one person, or something in the situation. It was like get or be gotten. I'm not really sure if there's much more I can say. I'm going to take another card. I know it's so weird because, like I said, there just felt like at the start there was quite a lot of healthy competition here. So I think like maybe this seems like there's more than just two people, right? It seems more than the inverse of you and one other, even though it could have a general focus of you and one other. It feels like there's multiple people here, and that a lot of the other people involved, or at least one other person, have this healthy competition. And they're actually the example for you of what that looks like. And it's like you're the person that chose to do that. So I think between like Ra and Anubis, they've pretty much got it sorted. I can tell you I would not like to have my heart weighed when they've specifically been paying the level of attention to you that they have been. I think there would be something here where you would be called to make amends. And maybe not specifically make amends, because I feel like this person probably doesn't really want you around them now. but to maybe find a way to do things differently. Like, we have the card here. Your presence is a gift to others. Whatever that was that went on was unnecessary. You didn't need to. You were great on your own before that happened, without that happening, without putting a hand in it, without feeling like you needed to force something. I think there could be a real issue here around how you see yourself or how you think others see you, and that none of that, like, other people's stuff really matters. How you see yourself matters more. And this could have been with a really good friend. And if it was not a really good friend, it could have been a person that had potential for like a lot of like a close long-term relationship. The thing that's sad is that you know what it is that you did. Other people bore witness to it, even if they weren't in the physical. So like your entities and deities, there's like multiple witnesses here to what it is that happened. Not only do you cause sadness for others, but you, this is the thing. Let's pull more cards. I think I need to demonstrate to you the path that this other person will find themselves on, right? Because it's going to be far away. It's not, I don't think it's what you think it is. I don't think you understand. I don't think you've really taken stock of it. I'm not sure I just heard, here's the universe, if we didn't catch that. Literally the scales, like Anubis, weighing the hearts. That looks like condemnation to me. I don't think I ever get the devil come through in condemnation. It looks like attachments and things that are out of our control that keep us stuck. So I was saying this is for this other person. So, you know, keep in mind, if this is a person who has like done something to you, this is probably their fate playing out. If you are the person who has done something here, it is very much like this is probably what will play out for you. And I will try to flip it in a second, depending what comes out. But it's like Anubis, keeping people accountable, the actual outcome of whatever it was that played out here, and then having a new beginning from that moment on. And I am seeing something here where a person is like gripping the chains and like snapping them, like smashing them apart, and where all the chains are breaking all over the place. So it's like here where it's like the universe corrected this situation. They'll break this person free. They will have a new beginning, specifically free of whether it's you or this situation or some type of like mental, I feel like some of you, not everyone, right? A very small number of people, maybe like 2 or 3, if that, maybe 1 or 2 people in this group that this is resonating for at this point. It's like you may have wanted to affect this person's mental health. It's not going to stick. Like, do you realize that? There's something here where even if you didn't intentionally do it, maybe you did for a time, there's a new beginning right here, and it's very healthy. There's a lot of potential here. They're going to get theirs. It's like, this is such a weird reading, guys. I don't know how to do a reading like this. I feel like I'm coming through with conviction. This is not like my judgment. This is spirit coming through. This is... I feel like you guys are getting a massive boot here, if we couldn't tell already, right? I don't think this person will be quick to forgive you. I don't think that, even if, let's say that they forgive you. I just think that they're not going to want you back in their remit anytime soon, okay? So there's something here where it's like maybe this person chose to go their own way. They chose to go separate. They withdrew from the situation, whatever this stuff was that was going on. And it's like, I don't know there's a really high chance that both of you were unhappy with how whatever this was that played out. You could be unhappy that they sort of withdrew somehow. They could have been unhappy with the way that things were, hence it like led their decision to go, and they really didn't want it to be that way, but it was, or something. Like often Four of Cups can come through as like being ungrateful, but this feels like I'm not willing to acknowledge it because I know that it's not what it's like. I don't know, like it's not what it was portrayed to be, or there's something about it that's off in some way. So it's like, I will not accept your half-filled cup, like, if that makes sense, okay? And so it's like here that even if this person gets to a point where they're like, do you know, I now, when I have made peace with this time, this place, this situation, this whole group, whatever it is that played out, I feel like the universe will give this person some sort of sense of forgiveness, whether this is for any part that they played in it, their own sense of self-forgiveness for maybe even if it's simple as not standing up for themselves or holding a boundary, for not leaving sooner, or for not having seen something. I feel like this person may potentially beat themselves up. It's like the universe will give them this forgiveness, and there's a good chance that the flow and effect is that this person will forgive you, but they will not take you back in their life. I feel like this has been a pretty brutal reading, but I'm just saying what comes through. This is the reading. If, like, you know, if you want honest readings, you're welcome to come to my channel. And if you do not, you're also welcome to not come to the channel. I do see with the amount of jumping around here how it could be hard to keep up with some of the statements that are coming through, especially when they come through with a very strong conviction. So what I would say is that if this reading confuses you, I would not spend my time, like you could try listening to it again to keep up with it but what I would say is that if this does not resonate with you and it is not clear to you and it does not make sense, do not take it on. The goal here is not to confuse people. This is very much a situation that you would know what has happened. You know the part you played in it and what you did not play in it. Do not ever let a random person on the internet tell you what you did or didn't do. It's very different if it's confirmation for the things that have happened or are currently playing out in time, okay? So that being said, always exercise your discernment. We have a responsibility for our own discernment. And I want to take one more card before we kind of totally wrap this up. I'm also getting that line from the craft where it's like light as a board, stiff as, no, is it light as a feather, stiff as a board? So some of you, that very much could be like strong occultist themes come through here, whatever that may mean to you. And we're just getting the message from Spirit for a time to rest a while, okay? So whatever this is, it feels like we may need to put this whole situation to rest. Maybe need to go inwards and take some rest for ourselves. Maybe we need to withdraw from whatever the situation was. And even if it feels like we got the raw end of the stick here, I think there is a time for renewal that will come, but that time is not yet, okay? Yeah. There, I am getting something coming through where it's like you're not stuck in totality. So whatever that may mean to you, I think the universe is just trying to let you know that it doesn't have to play out this way, or it doesn't have to be this way in concrete going forward. But there may need to be a time of quiet withdrawal, going inward, letting everything calm down, and letting that, like, going through the motions of the things that we don't like and getting to a point where the renewal will come in. Potentially even a higher connection with Spirit here that will help guide you through this process. I have to say, for some of you, I also feel like you could potentially be very spiritual or intuitive led people, and you do not want to kind of heed the call. Like, you don't want to do whatever you don't, I don't know. It's like, it gives me the energy as an example, right? It's not necessarily what's happening, of a person who will pull cards on other people without acknowledging, like basically bypassing consent of another person, in a way where you could classify it as, say, like a divination abuser, where they're not really being led by their higher selves or the universe for the highest good of all people, where you're essentially co-creating with the universe. This feels like a time for you to get right with spirit. I don't even know how much this is about you getting right with this other person, because frankly, I don't think they want to hear it. Even if they do at some point in time, whenever this is, I don't know, maybe it won't take that long. Then they probably will not want to be as close again or in close proximity. This is not really about you and this person. This is about you and God, you and the universe, you and whoever your deity is that you connect with, you and your higher self. This is really you and your higher self. Okay. With that being said, guys, this is a bit of a brutal one, but I mean, if it resonates, take it, and take care of yourselves. Maybe go for a little rest after this, and we will see you in another one. Okay, welcome in group 3. If you chose the Lunar Phases message, or, oh no, paper, this will be your group reading today for the theme of Welcome to the Jungle. And with today's reading, I was just getting something about, like, you wouldn't know, like there's something weird going on, or it would be very weird to tell what's going on and where something is coming from. And right as I was having that come through, I pulled the 7 of Cups and the Moon. I believe that I had the deck in reverse, but they directed me to keep them in reverse anyway. So I'm just going to take a moment. So I'm just getting, like, the moon is everything that you can't see. So it's like, are you stuck for finding a way out of something, or you're stuck for finding anything? Maybe there's like a lot of hidden choices or hidden variables here. There's like a lot of things that are hidden at play. This very much feels like it has to do with like Pluto or Scorpio type of themes. Maybe not Scorpio specifically. It feels very Pluto. Or 12th house stuff. Potentially, I don't want to say Neptune, maybe more the moon. Yeah. All right, so Pluto and the moon and 12th house. I do feel like we have water signs here pretty strongly. So, like, I can't speak. None of it's going to come through. I was just hearing the words Aquarius, and it's obviously not a water sign. But we do have like Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. Now we've also had Mercury and Gemini come out. So I'm going to say air signs, water signs, as well as Virgo. There could be something here about the way that you communicate with people. I know that this has like the lunar phases as the like, you know, the icon for how we chose group 3 today on the card, the paper. But I'm pretty sure Mercury is in retrograde. So something here where it's like, that's maybe not really the problem, but things could be getting lost in translation. But there's something here about the moon. So you could have a moon placement in any of those signs. It doesn't have to be. It could just be something about your moon being kind of like activated or some sort of overlapping. There could... Some people could share like Moon and Lilith in the same house. That could be a thing. I am going to skip past the astrology stuff in a second, guys. I just really want to kind of make sure that I'm heading in the right direction before we go any further, so that I don't miss any key details. What do we want to know? So, we might, let's see. Where is the moon right now? Zodiac. I think we did just do Scorpio moon, but oh no, Aquarius. There's not. Oh yeah, cool. All right, well that's good because Aquarius is what I had channel come through anyway, which is wild because welcome to the Aquarius moon tarot readers channel. All right, so moon. Just something is not being seen clearly. Something could be very cloudy at this point in time. I think the only way that you're going to be able to like move through whatever this is, it's like a time for like transmutation. It's like a time for shadow work. It's a time for looking at, they really could, I don't ever usually really get the magician come through as a creative energy, even though it definitely is and can be. But it's like creating something out of nothing or out of all that you have, or like it could, especially if you're like on the spiritual side of it, it's like you have everything that you need already within you, right? But I think there's something here about you are being asked to kind of like, obviously you can't see something going on, right? There's stuff here that's like muddled and not happening. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it's very much all happening. We just can't see any of it. It's like you're being asked to like look around, to get resourceful, to kind of get creative, to spend time trying things that you haven't done before. And I don't know, for some of you, this is going to be like uncovering like self-sabotaging behavior. Some of you, this is going to be uncovering your own kind of, when I say like a hidden agenda, I mean, for some of you, it may be like a hidden agenda. Some of you, it might not be a hidden agenda. Some of you, it could be uncovering our like kind of the things that we tell ourselves are needs, wants, and desires. A lot of this could be to do with, so I have Aquarius, I have Moon in Aquarius in the 4th house. We do talk about quite a bit of 4th house stuff that comes through in some of the readings sometimes. So like early family roots and stuff. And for a lot of you, this could be transmuting stuff to do with that early home environment or early family environment, early childhood. And I don't know. I think there is, for some of you, there is some level here of like the universe orchestrating a new romantic connection or potential partner to come in for you. Look, it doesn't have to be, but I feel like most people in this reading, that's exactly what it is. Whether you see it or deem it as divine is not necessarily the tick of approval that the universe needs. So it's kind of like the universe knows what's better for us than we do. And there is often a lot of things that if we knew, it's like we step into a very convoluted territory where it's like if we knew everything that was ever going to play out, and if we could go to a psychic and they could tell us exactly what was going to happen in a way that we felt we could circumnavigate the situation, and not have to experience certain things, then it's like we would be doing ourselves one of the greatest injustices of our time, because we would not grow into the totality of the human that we are meant to become, okay? And it's like you are so much more than that. You are so much more divine than that. You are I don't even have the words for it. Like, you are just more. So it definitely could look like a new romantic partner coming in, divinely orchestrated. This could be a match made in heaven. This could be an equal match. This could be people both bringing a lot to the table, or at least like an equal level of contribution in some way. This could be a really good connection. You could talk a lot. You could have good conversations. This person specifically could be like a conversationalist. You could have lots of fun. What else is there? Moon. I think part of this is working on ourselves to transform ourselves to become the person that we would like to see in the mirror. And if it's not even just what we would like to see in the mirror, it's like what we would like to see in a partner. But it's like we're transforming ourselves. We're like working through all this stuff and we're becoming the person that we would like to see on the other end, so that we become the equal match, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah. All right, what else do we have here? More cards. I am getting something about, like, for some of you, if you were wondering, it's like, yes, your guides are protecting you during this time. If that's been something that's been coming up on your mind, or you've been asking for the signier sign, this is it. Some of you, it may not feel like protection specifically if you're not interested in a connection or a romantic connection coming in. You could have spent a lot of time thinking about this person or this situation, and you could actually feel like it would potentially be detrimental to you to have to think about it any longer, or into the future. Or if it actually come in, it could potentially feel like something that you have to spend a lot of time thinking about that you may not want to. It could potentially feel stressful or exhausting, or like you just don't have enough time to think about all the things that could come with this new territory. I do want to say some of you may feel like you have been off the market for quite a while, although I would like to say with the lunar phases here, it's maybe not as long as you think, or there's something, maybe you are like more ready than you realize, or there's something here about just being in a different phase of life as well, could definitely be part of it. I just want to see what else, if I can get more. I'm feeling called to more speak on this moon in Aquarius phase that we're in right now with what the current moon is. Okay, so I found the information I was looking for. So the current moon phase is a waxing crescent moon, and it says your relationship with your emotions might be more complicated because moon in Aquarius has a strong need for emotional freedom. However, when you are in a group of people, it is easier for you to understand your feelings and free yourself from negative emotions such as fear, anger, and jealousy. Yeah. Okay. They also mention some of the organs that could potentially be more sensitive during this time is the calf, ankle, shin, Achilles, forearm muscles, and thyroid hormones. Okay, so you definitely could be a person who is at least interested in some of the astrological stuff, because sometimes I do get it come through very much, other times we do not. Sometimes it's not really about the fact that it's astrological information as opposed to the information coming through. Now, moving on, I think there will be like a level of abundance here that will come from this time that you probably couldn't predict. And it's like, so yeah, a very, very clouded time. You would have like a lot of trouble trying to work out like what is going on. You're being asked to be resourceful, look at everything that you have in the picture, get creative with it, see what you can do. Very much feels like shadow work and looking at things like whether we are self-sabotaging, what we've been doing in the past, and potentially how we've been looking at things, like what lens have we been looking at the world through, what have we been prioritizing, what have we really centered our focus point or our focal point around, like what is it that we decided we wanted in our lives or to go afterwards. And were there ways that we operated underneath the surface that could speak to things like unconscious and subconscious patterns playing out. It's like potentially conditioning, or maybe just not being so aware of our own behavior or something like that. Although I feel like Aquarius can be very aware. There was also that mention of kind of filling the time being around other people to, in some ways, distract, or it's like you feel good in the presence of other people as opposed to like being on your own. So there could be like a seeking clarity through other people when really all you need is yourself. And inevitably, when you actually have that time with yourself, all of this stuff will kind of clean up on its own. And then that will assist you in bringing in a person who is going to be really good for you in some way. I know that the card, the Lovers, is not necessarily representative of a person who is necessarily always good for you, because you can be in any type of relationship and it could come under the Lovers card if there was like that sort of romantic or lustful, intimate partner dynamic. It doesn't have to, it could just, any of those sentiments could still apply. But I feel like the way in which this is divinely orchestrated, there's a rhyme and a reason to the season, and I think there will be a lot of good things that will come out of it, particularly the fact that we have the 10 of Pentacles playing out here right now. So even if it is a case that for some of you could be embodying parts of yourself that like you have not really actually embodied in quite a while, like maybe you're opening the door to, whether it is new connections or friendships or romantic partnerships, it could be something where you're like, oh, I can have a joke again. Oh, I can have a conversation. Oh, I can be lighthearted. Oh, I can be funny. I can be charismatic. I can, all these things. I can be a bit spontaneous. I can kind of let myself, they were speaking about the freedom with the Aquarius moon, definitely a thing. Like coming into this sense of freedom, because in some ways there is a real freedom that the quality of like Gemini can exude when they are so free of so free in their expression. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually everything that I have for you today, Group 3. Hopefully this is helpful to you all in some way, and I will see you in another one. Take care. Hey, welcome in Group 4. If you chose Basil, then this will be your group reading today for Welcome to the Jungle. I definitely was getting something about this group being the group where it's like you could be the lean, mean, green fighting machine, something like that. Green, lean, mean fighting machine. I don't know, however it goes. So you could definitely be eating healthy. Welcome to the Jungle seems more of a reference for terms of like things like naturally growing foods that we would find in the wild. There is also something here about like having had a really close like little friendship circle that could have struck a big change in some way. Maybe something that you didn't see coming, and that when it did come in, it could have rocked you for a little bit, where you could have been in shock or disbelief in some way. I think it's more like disbelief that it maybe changed or happened the way that it did, or it played out. And maybe you realize that some people were just kind of there for like a good time, not a long time, or that even though you are having lots of fun, or it was supportive, or it meant a lot, or it was a really good time, you just realize that these people themselves change as quick as the wind does. Some of them could experience some type of like mental health condition that could actually affect their mood severely. It's not really to highlight it as much as it is for confirmation for those of you that you know that it's probably for your situation that it suits. It's not for the purpose of like diagnosing someone or anything. And even if I am saying a condition doesn't necessarily mean that they like specifically have you know, whatever said condition might be, but they may display strong tendencies towards something like that. So potentially things like BPD could be something where situations could change very quickly, like at a flick of, I was getting a flick of a stick, but I meant like, you know, like the flick of like a light switch, just like a sudden change. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't have to be, there's obviously lots of other conditions where people can change on a whim, but that's what I was getting come through for this example, for this reading. So there is something here too where I think, oh, what is it? Is it you? Is it this person? You could have two close people too that may know, understand, witness, have a higher understanding of something that has like played out. You may, I don't know if you are necessarily so close to them after whatever this bigger or drastic change was. It was very out of nowhere. But you could have felt like you have somehow put yourself on the outside or in between two people or two friends, or you could have felt like somebody was like taking things that you would say or information that you would give them and using it to their advantage. Just as much as we can flip the energy, you could be this person that I'm referencing. This person could have had a tendency to be quite competitive. They could have felt like things were being withheld from them, that they were being gatekept, that they were missing out on some type of higher ideal, higher knowledge, higher power, higher potency, higher something that bears good fruits or a good harvest or something. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to get come through. It seems like seeds of wisdom, seeds of knowledge, like hidden knowledge, not necessarily straightforward or easily understood information. So as much as it may be perceivably, you may have perceived yourself, or this person may have perceived themselves to have been gatekept or something, by someone in this little circle. It feels like a group of friends or something, or you at least had some type of connection where you guys were a bit closer than other people. They could have felt like they were being gatekept by at least one particular person, if not two. And I think that they thought that when the information was being communicated, I get the sense, let's say you're talking, just for an example for this video, let's pretend you're talking about a spiritual journey or an occultist type kind of information, or like esoteric wisdom, esoteric knowledge. Let's use that. That's a good example. It can be very hard to communicate that to a person who does not also already understand whatever that said esoteric wisdom or knowledge may be, especially if they have not experienced it to the same degree. So I could see how a person who has not had that experience could, in their mind, deem it that somebody was trying to confuse them on purpose or leave out information on purpose. I feel like the information that was being communicated was pretty straightforward, probably heavy hitting, could have potentially put this person in their ego or in their head. And I think there was something about that situation that they didn't like and it was hard for them to grasp. It could have felt like they thought that this person was using this like esoteric wisdom or knowledge to put them down or to make like hurt their ego in some way, kind of like intentionally or something weird like that. Like it feels very mind gamey, potentially erring on the side of paranoia, not being sure whether this person was actually like playing mind games or out to get them in some way. It's a bit of a weird one. This is a bit of a trip. There's like, I would say that the mental loop or the mental gymnastics that this person would have to go through just in their day of like trying to wrap their head around this situation could really knock them around quite a bit, especially if they do have other said conditions like kind of happening at the same time or in full swing. Now there is something here where it's like, even if they know that there is truth to some of the esoteric wisdom or knowledge here, there could be something where they still don't really want to acknowledge it, or they still feel like, well, maybe only 85% of what they say is true, or is genuine esoteric wisdom or knowledge here, despite total transparency and laying things clean on the table. There is also something here where I think that this person specifically might, I don't know, there's a couple things, right? One thing is that this person who is in their head thinking all these things, they kind of just naturally are this way, right? So of course they think other people must do it too. Okay, so there's one thing. Another thing is here is that potentially you could understand things that this person doesn't. Like, let's just be real plain and simple. They might at this stage in their journey be operating a lower state of consciousness. It's just something that happens with everyone. We've all been there. Me, like, I don't know, we dip in and out of it, but specifically like in our earlier years, we don't always like recognize it, like we're not always aware of it. And so there's something here where it's like, you may pick your moments in which you actually deliver or share parts of the information, because you could tell that it's like, or you're guided or something like that, where like that's when it would be helpful or something. Or there are times where it's like, if you there are parts of the information that's like, if you gave it to them all right now, it's not going to make sense, it's going to be confusing, or they will in fact do the finger pointing because they think you're trying to confuse them on purpose. So weird things like that, right? It feels like this person's reading into things. It feels like they felt unsteady or have had some sort of like mental, emotional mood swing, or some sort of really swift change in dynamic that kind of played out here. Something happened that made them feel like they can't escape whatever's going on in their mind. And I think they can't help themselves but ruminate you, specifically if you do have some type of like genuine high priestess style energy, where it doesn't have to be spirituality stuff, doesn't have to be occultist, doesn't have to be esoteric wisdom or knowledge. You could genuinely know things that this person does not, that maybe people have entrusted a level of confidence with you to not actually share or divulge. And this person may have tried to rock you in order to kind of get some of that out of you, but they essentially just got themselves a little bit paranoid or in their head because they didn't want to be kind of openly seen doing it. There is also something here. So water signs and moon placements could come through here as well. So we do have like, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and what else? I just think the biggest thing coming through here is that they feel like you're not sharing, which in reality, if you look at Basil grows very quickly. Basil seeds itself, and if you've got like the dirt, it doesn't really take a lot. Like if you've got just good enough conditions, it will seed itself and give back tenfold. It's really, and this, like, it is, I don't know, I'm getting something about it being pungent as well. So whatever that may be, like, because it still gets eaten by pests, but there's something about it where it could be like a deterrent to certain types of pests potentially, or it could be like pungent to certain energies or something. I want to take a moment and see if there's anything else that I'm getting here come through, because I feel like I could be missing something right now. I mostly feel like this person potentially felt like they could outdo you in some way. And so they wanted to kind of throw you a hot potato and so you fumble it so that they could show that they were like the real high priestess. So this is just, I don't know, it seems very childish. We're going to take more cards and we're going to see if there's other energies or other messages that would like to come through here for, you know, today's like welcome to the jungle, because I don't know, at this rate, it just feels like people are acting like they came out of the jungle. All right, the sun. You guys could have been like each other's favorites, or like they could have been your favorite, you could have been their favorite, or there could have been children involved here. There also could have been like a person who shone very brightly. We do have the Empress here as well, which also can speak to a person that could be a mother, but also could shine very brightly. They could be quite well-rounded. They could hold a firm position, but they could also be like really beautiful. There's something about it where it's like maybe somebody else wanted their position. I think part of why this specific person that I'm talking about right now, which you could be either side of this, and part of why they are the way they are and seen in the light that they are is because of the work that they do. So we also have Virgo, Taurus, Libra, and Leo. And with the sun specifically coming out, I feel like it would have to do with this person's sun sign placement, if that's something that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be. This person has done, they know themselves inwards. They know themselves like, they know they've spent time being introspective, and I think they know what they have to offer. And I think they lead offering kindness and compassion and support for other people's sovereignty. And they in some way are a gift from like God or the universe themselves. And I think that one of the hardest things about this situation is that this person would be very genuinely hard to fault. I think they're probably their own biggest inner critic. Like their inner critic is probably their biggest critic. They are their own biggest critic. They could be quite modest where it counts, but they can kind of do all the things that they need to do, and they can look the part, and I feel like they're good at a lot of stuff too. I feel like they could be quite well balanced. A person who knows their worth and has a lot of value and self-respect, and a person who has a lot to give those around them. But they're also, I think, a person who actually lights up other people's worlds. And I think part of why this previous sort of, environment was so good, when you look at it, what it really comes down to is because this person made it really good. They were like the light. They were the thing that made it happy and fun, and yeah. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else here for group for today? No. That's everything that I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful to you all in some way. Definitely like, comment, subscribe if you resonate. Definitely subscribe if you haven't, if these videos are resonating. But I'll see you all in another one. Take care.